Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to my small backyard vegetable garden here in central Victoria. My new varieties of rhubarb are still producing. I dug out the large Sydney Crimson variety I had and replaced it with the pink champagne I found marked down. With the cooler weather, my gluten-free sourdough starter is out of the fridge and we are enjoying what we would call summer veg on autumn meals. The last of the basil, tomatoes and capsicums from the garden. And at long last, the vine on these watermelons has finally shriveled up, so let's see what's inside. I'm not quite sure how big these are supposed to get. This is the first year I have grown them. I think they are definitely on the smaller side and look a little immature on the inside, but definitely the right time to pick them because the way they cracked open, that is perfection for a watermelon. Now, they may look immature, but let me tell you, the sweetness of the little bit of flesh inside was absolutely spot on and far sweeter than some of the watermelons that I have purchased. I will definitely be growing this again come spring summer. I have saved plenty of seeds, but now it will be down to finding the right spot in the garden to grow them. Hunter has been in the background letting me know that he is there and is very keen to try these watermelons. Watermelon is probably one of his most favorite things, and the joy on his face when he eats it is really quite wonderful. I was out early this morning and got the rest of this bed all planted up. I have the New Zealand red garlic at the front and I've got in some of my brassicas along with some more seedlings. The sweet peas are up. They were sown 12 days ago. I can't believe that where the time has gone, but they are all up. And now is the time to get on to clearing all the dried purple climbing beans off this mesh. We have rain on the way. Over the last few weeks, I have been going to pick some of the purple climbing beans that have dried. Every time we get a few drops of rain and then I put it off a little bit longer, but I'm going to race and get a few of these saved, ready for my spring summer plantings. I do this every year and end up with so many, probably too many, to plant out. I sowed the last of last summer's beans back about 6 weeks ago, and they germinated really quickly. I planted those out at the school in quite a little protected spot, and they are just about ready to start producing. There is so much seed here. Thankfully it is dry, so I have beat the rain, but for now I am going to clear this arch. It's not my favorite job, and it's always one of those jobs I tend to put off because it's a bit sort of fiddly, I think, but it's just one you have to turn your brain off and get on and do it, and it ends up being no big deal. It's just one of those chores in the garden where the thought of it is worse than the actual job. No matter what the reason is, I need to get on with this because I will have sweet peas wanting to climb up this wire very soon, and I do not want them growing in amongst all of this dead bean vine. It does get a little bit fiddly when the vine goes around and around the wire mesh, but it doesn't take too long, and a little bit of the drying vine left there, really it just decays away and drops to the ground. So nothing has to be perfect, but it is nice to have it done. Now to clean up around all these tiny little sweet peas. They're just poking their heads through the soil, and I want to get a little bit more wool over this other side just to keep them protected. I love using hessian because I can just rip it off and put it in the compost with all this vine. I love the many little jobs the autumn garden brings. The weather is pleasant and I could lose many hours here just pottering. Ticking off all the tiny jobs I have on a wish list in my head. They are significant to no one else, but it brings me so much joy. Even 10 minutes spent sowing a few lettuce seeds, shifting a pot, or picking and eating something I've grown. The rush of the summer garden has gone. And I welcome the slower pace of the autumn garden. Although there is still lots to do. The summer heat has gone, picking and preserving has finished. Planting out slower growing crops and thinking about changes to the garden awaits. I have some changes I want to make and can't wait to get started. I picked up this tray of seedlings at Bunnings. They are just a few extras that I want to tuck in around all the seedlings that I have grown here myself. I've already planted some out into the garden bed this morning. I'm so glad I beat that rain getting those beans off the arch, but I am going to push on and get these purple sprouting broccoli planted. They have been sitting here because they have got too tall for the net on the table, and thought I'd sit them here and acclimatize them to where they're going to live for the next many months. Although I would have loved to have had these already in the ground, the top dressing has had some time to settle in. The soil is looking beautiful and so many worms. I really hate disturbing their hard work. Growing on seedlings in the terracotta pots rather than the plastic has been new for me this season, but so far it's going really well. I bought these 4 purple sprouting broccoli plants as advanced seedlings and potted them up into these terracotta pots. They've grown a lot. Next summer I will be trying to grow these myself and starting them really early. I started sowing brassicas about the middle of February and they are nowhere near this big. So I'm thinking December, although I will struggle to sow only 4 seeds. I have so many cauliflowers that have germinated. It's really quite ridiculous, but we'll see how it all goes. And of course, I'll squeeze in as many of my brassicas as I can. But getting these early purple sprouting broccoli in is a big win for me. Last year, I had the early Bambino, which was the green sprouting broccoli, and it was well and truly producing from the end of winter, which we ate non-stop for months. This year I'm trialing these tomato cages because these plants get huge and heavy, and the staking makes it quite difficult when they are such big plants. It is a bit windy up here up the top, so they will need some sort of support, and I'm really focused on growing exactly the things we love to eat that are expensive in the supermarkets. And once again, I will be squeezing in as many seedlings as I can, making the most of my vegetable garden real estate. Remember, if you have bought in brassicas, net and check leaves regularly for cabbage white eggs. I quarantined my bought advanced seedlings before mixing with my netted homegrown brassicas, and although I checked them daily for probably 2 weeks after I purchased them, I bought them weeks ago and have just recently found eggs on the backs of the leaves. If found early, it's very easy to rid them. Just run your fingers across the backs of the leaves and they fall off. I find that far easier than searching for tiny little green caterpillars that can quickly eat through leaves. These are the purchased seedlings that I planted into this garden bed this morning. I've also transplanted some of the onions from my big pot that I seeded a heap through. I chopped the tops off the onions and put around the base of the purple sprouting broccoli. This is the pot. I just threw a packet of seeds in here and I think everyone has germinated, but I want that pot to grow some lettuce in it. That soil is beautiful. And if I can spread the onions through the beds, then that's what I'll be doing. I unrolled my seed snails with the red Brussels sprouts and the snowball cauliflowers just to separate them out a bit and to add a bit more soil. I wanted them to grow on nice and healthy, and it was a bit terrifying to do, especially for the Brussels sprouts. The snowball cauliflower I can replace, but the red Brussels sprouts, I don't see them often at Bunnings being sold, but they seem to have come back okay, and I had planned to do the same with the purple Sicily cauliflower and also the green cauliflower. And now that I've done it a couple of times with these hessian seed snails, I think I might film doing those because the roots do grow through the hessian. But I'm very happy as to how they have settled back into the seed snails with the extra soil and have grown on. Sadly, these are so leggy. They are Italian sprouting broccoli, and I'm not quite sure what I should be doing with those. I had thought I might put them into a seed snail and sink them nice and low and see if they'll take off. That will purely be an experiment. Everything is looking so beautiful up here in this light. The spinach here isn't far off being planted, and I haven't actually sown some seeds for a little while. There are so many things here that are close to going out, and I have beds to clear out before I can get too many more things planted. So that is high on my priority list. I haven't even started on sowing any broad beans or peas. That will be a little later on. They will germinate quite quickly. And of course, I do have some beetroot here in the seed snails, but I will be direct sowing those and carrots. It didn't burn it.